Yeah, it will lag a little bit, but it should be back up and running now. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Thanks, Mar. Okay, Mar. So we are on your game. Okay, so you asked about the Tigran Petrosian Blitz game against Magnus Carlsen. Okay, so we'll do it. Not, if there's anything important that I think I will note about the opening, then I will do so. Okay. Otherwise, I'm just gonna scroll through the opening moves. Okay. So, knight f3, okay, for those of you who don't know, the idea behind knight f3 is to just kind of like keep your options open. Oh, of course you are, Mar. I knew it. I knew it, Mar. Stormer, thanks for the star follow, Stormer. Again, am I lagging? I shouldn't be lagging. Why am I lagging? Is it just the webcam that's lagging? Everything should be... Oh, maybe I should just get out of studio mode. It should be caught up. It should be okay now. Anasazi. Is it still lagging? Hello? It looks okay on my screen, so should be okay now. Okay, alright. Hey, it's Ace 2 Espada! Sup, man? Okay, cool. Yeah, and it was all because I opened up Twitch, right? If I open up Twitch and everything lags, this is why I can't update the channel name. I need to find like an external way to do that. That would be cool. Actually, you know what? I might be able to. I will find a way, children. Okay, yeah. So knight f3 gets played to keep white's options open. Because of course now white can still play any of these moves, depending on what black plays. Okay. So like let's say you play c5, I can play e4 and I have a Sicilian in my bag, You play, I don't even know, knight f6, I can still play this, and transpose into something normal. So knight f3 just keeps the options open. Okay. c5 gets played. Baiting him. He's baiting him. Come on, play Sicily. He's baiting him. And he just plays g3. So this is a very modern type of playing. And I see that white played the Zukertort opening. I like playing the Zukertort opening myself. So g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, castle, knight c6. All just development moves. Natural. Nothing funny going on here. e4 countering the Sicilian, right? So we have a Sicilian invitation here of a Zukertort variation. So d3, d6, d3, plays e5, and c3 gets played. Okay, interesting. Knight e7, a3 gets played. I guess he wants to play b4 maybe very quickly. Castles and b4. Now, we have recently had a few games in this line where black plays this quick b4 move without developing the queenside pieces. It's become a bit of a fashion statement right now, and I'm not really sure that I like it. Because in general, black's ideas can just continue on as normal. He can easily play f5, but he can also just develop his pieces, right? e6 is an easy square now for him to develop to. And, if you overcommit on the queen side with your pawns, then black will just blockade them and then suddenly start playing on the king side. When your pieces suddenly start feeling really weird being on the wrong side of the board. Okay. So I'm not sure if I like this idea for white. So a6 gets played to prevent b5 from happening. Knight d2, bishop e6, knight g5, attacking the bishop. So the bishop will have to move because he doesn't want the double pawns, because he wants to be able to play f5 if need be. So the bishop just drops back to d7. This is the reason why he drops back and doesn't defend it. Plays knight c4, attacking the pawn. So now we have to deal with that problem. h6 gets played in between, so your knight's being attacked. So now if you want to take the pawn, fine, I'll take your knight, and oops, you lose a piece. Nothing too great there. He takes the pawn. Interesting. So this, I guess, is why Petrosian wanted us to go through this game. White decides to sacrifice a piece. Now, I understand the idea because, of course, you take and then you take on c5 as well. So I guess in conjunction with the lesson I did before, right, it's a question of when is the pawn's better than the piece, right? Mar, it's like you read my mind. By the way, Mar, I did not see this game beforehand. I did not know this was gonna happen. Okay? You're the man. You baited me into this. Shots fired, okay? Triggered all the way. But good job, man. Good job. So he takes the piece. And knight takes b7. Queen goes to c8. And knight takes c5. Okay, and here we are. We have 1, 2, 3 pawns versus a piece. Cling. Okay, so that's what we got. And we are threatening to win this pawn as well, which means we would have 4 pawns against the piece. So now the question again becomes, is this good for the pawns or good for the piece? G moves! It is the game. G moves, this is the actual game, Petrosian versus Carlsen from the World Blitz, yeah. So Mar asked me to have a look at this game, and well, you know, he is a viewer. He posted the game, and I'm having a look at it. I don't mind at all, okay? There is something to be learned in any and all games. But Mar, I hope that you will post a game of yours in the Discord channel, okay? Because the point of me analyzing viewer games is to give you pointers on where you can improve and also on what material you can work through as well. Yeah, Petrosian's total troll. So again, I mentioned it to all of you. If you haven't joined the Discord channel yet, join the Discord channel, because in the Discord channel you will be able to post your games that you want us to analyze, your viewer games. Post them in the viewer games channel in Discord, and then we will add them to the list and we will do the analysis on stream for you for free. Coaches charge for this, okay? Coaches charge for this stuff. We do it for free. Okay, so g4 gets played to avoid losing another pawn. Bishop g5 gets played anyway. Not quite sure why, to be honest. Not gonna lie to you. Why? Why does he play bishop g5 anyway? There's no tricks. Okay, let's stop for a quick moment here and take stock of the pawns versus the piece. Okay, so in the previous game that we had, that we just did the middle game lesson in, we noted that the pawns were strong, even though there was only 2 of them. They were just as strong as the piece, basically, because of a few key factors. First of all, the pawns were already on the 4th, in this case it would have been the 5th rank, right? And they were right next to each other. They were also very well supported by other pawns and pieces. Added to that, white, in this case black, should or needs to have a few more weaknesses for us to attack. Here, on the other hand, the pawns are further back. The pieces are not behind them, ready to help them shove up the board. And black doesn't have like super easy weaknesses to attack for white as well. So even though he has 3 pawns, I think I would slightly prefer the black pieces here. Yeah, so G moves, but you know, if I have to assess the position based on our material imbalances clock, black is probably still slightly better here, because the pieces are doing perfectly fine in this position against these pawns. As long as the pawns are kept at bay, then these pieces are going to be stronger than the pawns in the end. So let's see how the game develops. So rook e8 gets played. So that means that he can now obviously move his knights, so he doesn't have to worry about any nonsense. Queen b3 gets played. Knight goes back to d8. So he wants to trade off this very strong knight. Okay, so he either wants to play here or here and gets rid of the c5 knight. So bishop drops back and knight e6. Now, of course, white is ready to replace it with a bishop. So rook d1 takes, bishop takes, and bishop e6. Okay, again, as I pointed out, the key factor here is that these pawns are still very far backwards. Okay, They're not up there in your face, preventing your pieces from maneuvering and developing and doing what they want. As in the previous game, the study where the pawns were very far advanced and was really obstructing the opponent's pieces from going anywhere useful. Okay? So we attack the queen. Queen goes to a4. Knight goes to c6 here. Probably does black want to play? No. So black doesn't want to play trade off his bishop pair. So he likes his bishop pair. It's probably too much. Why Walk Gaming? It's probably too much material to lose. The pawns look cool, but you know, in the end, what will happen is that black will sacrifice one of the pieces back for 2 pawns, and then you're just down a piece. So probably not worth it. Just saying. Okay. So after knight c6 d4. Okay, so the pawns start going. Now we have 1, 2, 3 defenders versus 1, 2, 3 attackers. That arrow is very skewed. So yeah, so the pawn can push. Okay, cool. The bishop goes in here, tries to blockade in on the white squares. Okay. d5 gets played. And the knight goes back to b8. But note that these pawns are still yet not that far up the board. Were these pawns here and here, I would have been much different about my assessment for this position. But at this point, black is still doing a good job at keeping everything at bay. This knight now will try and trade off the bishop on c5. So bishop f1 gets played. Takes, and knight d7. Now note that we're trading off pieces before you get your pawns pushing. Then we can make the piece mean more in this position. So bishop e3 gets played. Exactly, Mar. So it becomes this fight, right? In the previous game, we had the 2 pawns, so we had the material imbalance, but the pawns were doing such a fantastic job at keeping your pieces at bay. You had many weaknesses for us to attack. You know, there was just so many extra things for the pawns going for the pawns. Okay. Whereas here, the pawns are not part of the game yet. They're not shoving up. They're not pushing your pieces back. They're not doing what they were doing in the previous game. Okay. So it makes a huge difference to when and where the pawns are useful or not. Exactly. So if the pawns are not doing anything, then right now you're still just down a piece. Of course, as the pawns get further advanced, then they're cramping your style, and then the piece starts becoming a bit more tricky to say that, hey, I'm better than you. Okay, so the bishop drops back here, and he cannot take the pawn because, of course, his knight's hanging. So knight goes to f6, attacking this pawn now, and you can see that there are weaknesses for white now as well. So his pawns are a little bit triggered here as well. The e4 pawn is finding it very hard to survive this situation. And that's bad, because now you're starting to lose pawns. Losing pawns is where everything starts going bad here. So queen b3 is played. He doesn't try and hold on to the pawn. Knight takes. And now he plays c4. So now the pawns are starting to get there, right? But they're not there yet. And notice that these pieces are not being hindered by the pawns on the queen side. Which means that now we could start attacking on the king side, which was our life's ambition here as black now. So now that extra piece, if we're attacking, the extra piece is going to be a mean son of a gun to have to deal with, right? So queen f5, so he swings his queen around, right? Because now, of course, there's some very bad weak squares around your king here on the white squares. No, he doesn't care about these pawns, I don't think. Rook a to c1, bishop f6, okay? So he's thinking bishop here, because then the knight can come into these squares and the queen can come around here. Here. Okay, so that is what he's thinking. He's thinking, if I get bishop here, I can get my knight here, and I can swing in with these pieces into the attack. His focus has completely shifted to attacking the weak white squares around the king. And of course, your pawns can be as far up the board as they feel like. If I'm checkmating you, you lose the game. So check how cool black plays this. And I like what black's doing here because he's showing the power of the piece here. Okay, it's like having opposite bishops, right? Where the attacker is favored because the opposite colored bishop can't do anything to defend on its weaknesses if it's on the wrong color. Okay, so c5 gets played here, and king g7, which I love even more because now, of course, you know, there is just the simple mating threats here. This is quite vicious. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, but this is mean in every sense of the word. Because the rook h8, we take on h2. If you take, I go check, and I go, you know, this is disgusting. So king g7 is a very cute little move, to be honest. Okay, so f3 gets played. Slightly desperate, trying to obviously now try and get some defense on the second rank here. The knight goes to g5. Obviously making some simple threats here. Bishop takes, rook goes to e1. So here I am interested in the position. Finally interested now. You have piqued my interest here. Okay, so I guess the rook is hanging in this position, right? So the rook will have to move here. And that's why he goes rook here. Okay. But after pawn takes f3, now you start seeing that, of course, I have deflected you away now. The white pieces are starting to go towards the king side to defend the king side attack. And then your pawns can become very easily vulnerable on the queen side because there's no more pieces there to help them. So rook takes, queen to d7. The idea is just to hold up the pawns, okay? Yeah. Exactly. Not so much within tune of the opponent's moves, G moves, but obviously with how the position changes. Okay? Obviously with how the position changes. So you need to be constantly being able to tune in and how the position has changed. That's why when I talk about assessing positions, we basically, every 3 moves, you have to reassess the position because pawns have moved, pieces have shifted to different squares. The whole game has changed and can change within 1, 2, 3 moves. So here the game keeps on shifting around. We keep on shifting around, okay? Now black is shifting the queen over to this side of the board here again to just hold up the pawns, okay? Because if I can blockade them on dark squares, I have a dark square bishop. So if you play c6, my queen goes to d6, bishop here, and these pawns are not moving. So I can blockade them on the dark squares. Then I can open it up again for my rooks and then start playing with the extra piece that I have. So watch what Carlsen does, which is quite pretty. So d6 gets played. White understands that he needs to keep the pawns on dark squares so that you can't blockade on the dark squares. e4 gets played, attacking the rook. Nice and simple. Creates also just more squares for my pieces as well. My bishop now to attack your king. Check. King goes back. Rook f2 and e3. So the pawn just gets really up in your face. What does the pawn do? The pawn fixes your rooks so that your rooks cannot come and help push your pawns on the queen side. So again, like I said, what do we do the whole time here? Black is cleverly twisting the game the whole time. So I don't give you the chance to continuously do what you're wanting to do. You want to put your rooks behind your pawns and shove them. What am I doing? I'm cramping your rooks on the king side to have to defend your king. So let's see how this continues. True, exactly, G move. So he came back to the queen side. Now he's blockading the pawns and just restricting the rooks on the king side. Beautiful. Rook f3, queen c6. So now you can see we've blockaded these pawns on white squares. Okay, it's quite nice. And of course, the bishop and the rook is keeping these 2 rooks stuck on the king side. Okay. King g2. Of course, he was also just attacking the rook, naturally. So king g2, queen e4. Now you can start seeing that the king is still feeling quite awkward. Okay. And the queen keeps an eye on the d6 pawn. So if you ever want to play c6, I just take the d6 pawn. So rook e2, preventing the checkies because they are mean and evil and just really, really rude. Because otherwise you would have something like queen e2 as well. So queen a2, queen e2 as well, which would be quite annoying. So now he starts putting the screws on the pawns. Okay, so a5 gets played. Now, of course, if you push, then you will probably lose a pawn, right? So if you play like b5, I can probably play here. Because now this pawn is going to die or this one's going to die. And again, without support, the pawns are easy to target. Because now if the c pawn falls, the d1 falls. And so on and so forth. Okay. So these are the kind of ideas that black is just doing. He's just basically forcing these pawns onto squares where they don't want to be. And then he's going to break them open and take them. Because these rooks now are completely stuck to attacking the king still. Okay. So he plays h4. Trying to get rid of this bishop. So he takes the pawn, attacking the queen, of course. So you can't take the bishop. Pawn takes. And now, of course, the rook has an open file as well. Great. So rook a2, attacking the rooks. Now, of course, the rook is hanging. So you have to do something. Queen e1. Now, again, now notice how all the pieces are on the king side now. When the pawns will be much easier to target as well. So he takes it. Queen takes, and rook drops to a8, threatening that. And the big problem why this doesn't work for black, why he can't survive, like let's say takes here, let's say you take, I take, and I don't even know where's this king gonna go. Let's say the king goes here, right? The problem is that this pawn is a monster as well. Yes, white dancing. Yes, it was. Okay, so even queen here as well is quite a bit of a nuisance of a move as well. So plenty of ways, and we can also just attack the pawns. We can just shove these pawns down his throat, right? Check here. So many ways for us to continue here. Okay. So he doesn't have time for that. So he tries to play king h3 here. Yeah, like most of his games. And rook a2 gets played anyway. The queen has to go to f1 to defend the rook because, of course, it's being attacked, right? And now e2 gets played, little intermezzo. And, of course, queen here, he goes check. Just supporting the queen to push. The pawn to push, I mean. So now you're in check. You have to move your king or block the check. And then, of course, I just promote my pawn. So a very beautiful, beautiful game by black here, okay? Those pawns were, first of all, in the beginning restricted. Then we started trading off some pieces because then my piece becomes, you know, just much stronger, right? Because the less pieces are on the board, then you start feeling that piece much, much better, okay? As long as the big pieces stay on the board. In an endgame, of course, the pawns are going to be much stronger in an endgame. Okay, no doubt about it. But now, with the king suddenly having some weaknesses around him in the white squares in this game, he starts feeling the pressure of that extra piece. And then black goes back to blockade the pawns and then forces the white pieces onto the king side to defend. Now the pawns do not have support to push anymore. And then he creates another weakness. He opens up the A file here so that these rooks have a way in to the king side attack as well. Very beautiful game from Magnus, yes. Very, very beautiful. Now let's see who else is here. I don't really think, to be honest, that any of the games that I have here on the list so far is any of you. So if anybody in the chat right now wants to send me a game in Discord, sorry. Hi, Clown Pawn. Say what now? I don't understand. Who is Jarlson? Oh, Carlson. Of course Carlson's my viewer. Yes. We'll just say yes to that, right? Like, of course he is. Come on. So, no, it was actually Tigran Petrosian that was the viewer, Clown Pawn. Hi, Clown Pawn. So, is there any of you who wants to post a game for me I guess you could do it. Not yet, Dr. Hack, not yet. He'll come here for his lessons very, very soon. I mean, the man's got to learn, right? Someone's got to teach that child. So yeah, if there's anybody in the chat who would like me to go through one of your games, then maybe, well, if Dr. Hack is here, maybe Dr. Hack can just, you can post it in the chat here on twitch.com, and then maybe Dr. Hack can just post it for me in the Viewer Games channel in Discord. So again, I mentioned this, if you guys want to, there you go. Dr. Hack, can you maybe do me a favor and copy and paste that? Oh, can I copy and paste this? Oh, wait, I can do this. Never mind. I didn't know I could copy and paste this. Sweet. Copy. Never mind. I can do it myself. I didn't realize I could, but I love it. I can. Let me just open up another browser. Because then I can add it. So just give me a second. I will add that game for you. Yeah, so the best way to send a game, Sahid, is to join the Discord channel. And in the Discord channel, you will see that there is a Viewer Games sub-channel. And in there, you can post your games. And we will automatically add them to a list of games. And then we will do them as such. So I will add your game real quick, Notorious. Otherwise, post it in here. I'm gonna add this one quickly. So, or did you do it already, Dr. Hack? Did you just do that already now? Or am I doing it? Oh, crud. That's not what I wanted to do, right? I don't know how to do this. This is gonna be tough. Okay, wait. It's fine. Can I do it like this? This is getting a little confusing, but I'm gonna try. It might lag a bit. I apologize for that. Here we go. That's it. Okay, Mr. Notorious. Yeah, so the best way is definitely just come and join us in Discord, and then you can post your games in the Viewer Games channel where we will add it to the list, and you guys will be getting it going. Oh, I can make you a member, my friend. Dr. Hack, you have been invited. But yeah, Dr. Hack, I already added Notorious's game. Okay, I've added his game already. Okay, Notorious, what color are you for this game? Maybe you can start there. Notorious, if you are still in the chat, the game that you posted in the chat, what color are you? From Black's POV. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Got it. That is all I needed to know, sir. Okay, awesome. Okay, so you were black then, I assume. Okay, so let's have a quick look here. So we have an E4, E5 game, and we have a Petrov defense. It's been a while since I've seen one of these. Okay. B3. What a weird move. That's such a weird move. Yeah, so just all of you, just join us in Discord, throw your game there in the Viewer Game channel, and we will add it to the list. Pew pew! Pew pew! Just remember, Dr. Hack, to unsync if you are going to add stuff in the background. Otherwise, stuff is going to happen here. It's going to go naughty. Okay. So D6 gets played. I'm not so sure I like this move too much, blue piece. Notorious, if you're playing black here, there are much better ways of dealing with this problem. Maybe there is not. Oh, you think so? Cool. Oh, are you white, Notorious? Okay, but then I want to see it from your point of view. And guys, you know, if you really want to learn from your mistakes, then put games in here that you lose. Because then you can learn from it, okay? Especially if it's those type of games where you don't really know where you lost the game. Okay, then you can give it to us and we will analyze it for you and try and make you understand, you know how, yeah, okay, then you were white. So I'm going to change it again because I want to see it from your perspective, okay? I can still tell you what he did wrong. Okay, cool. Okay, so knight c3. So d6, first of all, looks a little bit awkward. I mean, I understand that you have this problem, right? But after like something like, let's say, let's say knight here, right? If you go bishop here, then this should be fine. I even have this idea here with bishop c5. Because, again, the same problems apply here. If you play here, I can just take here. Sorry. Take here. Because I have threats as well. Stupid threats, but the threat is still there. Yeah, I agree with you, Clown Pawn. These people have some really clever names sometimes. Oh, by the way, let me just... Kurlaup, Stormrer, and Starkey07. Guys, thank you guys so much for the follows. We are super loving it. Growing the channel one follower at a time. You guys are awesome. Okay, so Black could have definitely done it. He missed that both players are in the chat right now. Well, who's the other player? Really? That's cool. Okay. I guess I can flip the board. Shall I flip it again then to Black? Okay, I'll do that. Okay. So yeah, so again, Black, there is no need to play something like d6. You could probably even play bishop c5 straight away. Turns very interesting. If he plays here, you go queen e7, and of course, you know, you get your pawn back. You get your pawny back, yo. Okay? So again, this helps you to get your bishop out first. And now, if he, let's say, play something, you can even play d6 now if you want. Because now your bishop is not here. Okay? So whoever was playing Black here, that is something that you want to... think about. You don't want to block in your own pieces, okay? So the move d6 here is probably unnecessary. But okay, let's continue. Okay, so here again, Mr. Notorious. Why play d3 and then play d4? Don't change your mind. If you're going to play d4, play d4. Just throw it in there and do it, right? Because you could have saved yourself a tempi here by playing d4 straight away. Okay, no reason to waste the time. If you're gonna play d3, then continue on with your development and then play d4 when you're good and ready. Okay, otherwise play d4 straight away here. Then at least you haven't wasted any time. Okay. d5. Oof. Interesting. That's a little bit risky as well, I would say, from Black. A little bit risky to play this d5 move. Because after e4 even, what are you planning on... e5, I mean. What are you planning on playing after e5? I guess you could play knight g4. I guess you've castled and white has not castled. So, okay. Maybe the d5 move is not so bad from Black here. Because, of course, he is just opening up the position here. Which is not a bad idea, seeing that the... White king is still in the center. So pawn takes happens by white. Knight takes, and queen takes. Bishop c4. So this is what I didn't like, because now you're allowing him to get tempi. Tempo moves by attacking your queen and developing his pieces at the same time. Personally, I would have put up the gauntlet here and taken the pawn on g2 as Black. So I would have taken the pawn. I would just say, the hell with it. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to take that pawn and see if I can survive this attempted onslaught that you have planned for me. Yeah, that's true. Both sides are making it interesting at least, you know. But again, you know, blue piece, you know, here I think because you're a little bit ahead in development here, I think you should take the pawn. I mean, if he plays here, you trade off queens and whatever, you're just up a pawn. Okay, if he plays rook f1, then you're gonna have to make a few interesting decisions. Okay, so first of all, he's not threatening anything. Okay, we can continue on developing if we want. We can play here now, attacking the queen. Okay, if he plays f3, of course, then we have this check and he's just losing checkmate. Okay, so he can't play f3, so he'll have to move either here, here, or his queen needs to move. But all of these moves favor you because, of course, you're up in material. You know, if you can trade off some pieces, then of course there will not be a kingside attack anymore, and black would probably just win this. I don't see any way for white to avoid this type of stuff. Okay. I think this would just go pretty bad for white. Because, like, let's say you play knight e2, okay? Not great move, but let's just use it as an example. Then rook d8 attacks the queen. Now if you play here, I have this as another move. And you can quickly see that things are just falling apart very quickly. So you'd have to play bishop e2 here. And after takes, what do you take back with? If you play with a queen takes, then I go check. And again, your attack is dwindling here. You go here, I take. And now what? If you take with the queen, I go check. And it's starting to look very weird once again for you. Now I'm going to develop my last piece. My other rook's going to come to d8. And Bob's your uncle. My extra pawn should be very good for me. Notorious, I think he was scared of taking the pawn. You know what I mean? You know, I think he was literally scared of taking the pawn, you know, which is kind of funny, of course. It's not a terrible move from you, don't get me wrong. I think it could be interesting with correct play from white as well. But it just seems like the position is not suited for such a pawn sacrifice, unfortunately. So, okay, he went back. And now I definitely agree white should be in the driver's seat. Because after castling, you know, white just has the better angles with these pieces. It's going to get this bishop here as well. You know, it's very easy for you to add pieces to this fire of this, you know, to add fuel to this fire, right? So bishop c5 happens. Bishop e3. So, okay, so you decided to go this way. I still think you should probably go this way to b2. Because the bishop will be much better placed on this diagonal. Okay. TFW. Oh, so is that the you. Yeah, so here I think I would still prefer if you go bishop b2 here, by the way, because the bishop is going to be much stronger in this diagonal than it is on this one. Okay, so you know it does the same job, still protects the knight, of course, and the bishop is in a great spot on b2. Okay, so bishop e2, e3 gets played, queen f6. Okay, interesting. c3, so you decide to overprotect that knight, which is perfectly fine. Queen goes to g6 with some cheapo attempts coming your way. So you play queen f3, defending h3 against this threat. And you get your queen out of this file as well. Nothing wrong with that. Good job. So he takes it, and now bishop takes. And now, of course, the bishop is on this diagonal anyway. So, okay. Your opponent helped you out a little bit on that one. Now again, like I pointed out earlier, white must be better because look at the access he has with his bishops. Very, very nice. And look at these guys. They're just, you know, drinking Mai Tais. They're like, hey bro, need some help over there? The queen's like, no man, I got this. Ah! Okay, so bishop finally develops, but now of course there is a bit of a pawn problem possible. But, of course, white does not fall for this because of bishop c and there. Okay? So, cute little cheap trick. If you take here, then bishop here, attacks the queen, and, of course, you have the mate threat as well. Okay? White plays bishop d3. Good move. The bishop can move from this diagonal to attack h7 instead. Queen goes to g5. And now queen goes to e4 to attack with mate. g6 gets played, and now this diagonal is even worse. So f4 gets played. Interesting. Not a bad idea because this even gives you options of rook lifts. Okay? So f4 is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. You have control over this diagonal, so you don't have to worry about the checks and stuff that could come with playing f4. And of course, you just have a tempo. Queen goes to g4. Queen e5, threatening mate and this pawn. f6 gets played. Yeah, exactly. These pieces are useless, right? And that's another thing, right? I mean, it's all a question of how active the pieces are. So bishop goes check now. Now the bishop redirects itself to this diagonal again because it's open. Tony Ban, thank you, Tony Ban. Again, I pointed out to all of you, if someone just types in exclamation Discord, join us in the Discord channel, because there you will be able to post your games. We will add to the study to analyze your games on the show. Okay. Now, Clown Pawn, black is not terrible. Black is just the standard 1700 player, you know, or at least blitz player. Was this a blitz game, or was it how? What was the time control in this game, if I may ask? My bishop just, my mouse just died. So the king moves up to here, and now queen goes check, of course. Ooh, and there's no way to defend the pawn, the queen, the rook, I mean. So if king went here, how would we have continued? Can anybody tell me if the king goes to h8? Thanks, Tony Ban. If the king goes to h8, what would white play? Just out of interest, because that's the only other little tactic we can see in this game. So let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, so join the Discord channel in the chat right now. All of you, join the Discord channel. It'll be totally worth it, okay? We're getting a lot of titled players to join us in the channel as well. And you will be able to obviously ask questions and stuff like that. Interact with, you know, titled players. And you'll be able to add your games to the viewer channel so that we can analyze your games for you. Yeah, Clown Pawn, I understand completely. Yeah, position-wise, boom. You know what I mean? They're not part of the game, right? They're just not part of the game. So can anyone tell me what would white have played if king h8 was played by black? So in other words, basically black was just screwed. Is what I wanted to come down to, but at least you need to understand why. Let's see who's gonna find the trick first. White to play and win. Ah, there we go. Dom D. Exactly. It's a beautiful little queen sacrifice because the two bishops are trapping the king. Good job, boys and girls. Good job. Perfect. Okay. So the king went to h. So the best move here would have probably been rook f8. It's a little bit sad, but it's probably the only real move you can play. Okay. So what would you play if rook f8 was played, by the way? Let's see if someone else can find this one. Nice little tactic show going on now. So if rook f7 was played, what would you play as white? Yeah, good job, Dom DD. But now, if we played rook f7, what would you play now as white? Anasazi says rook e1. There is better, Anasazi. There is better. And this is something that I think a lot of, like, you know, just slightly weaker players forget, okay, about pins. This is why, even in my pin lesson, I explain that a pinned piece cannot protect, okay? A pinned piece cannot protect another piece. So by playing rook f7, your rook is now pinned, which means it cannot defend jack diddly squat. So what does white play now after rook f7? No, Anasazi, don't do it. Don't give him the satisfaction. Yes, Brunarola says, I'll take your pawn anyway, because I can checkmate you on both these squares, fool, because your rook cannot move. Good job, Brunarola. Good job. Your rook is pinned, so your pawn on f6 is still possible to be taken. The Nims! Hello, the Nims! Good job, boys and girls. Good job. So there was no real good reply here, to be honest. This is just busted. Gunship. Oh, thank you, Gunship. That's very nice of you. You like the beard? Is my beard doing it for the ladies? We're gonna find out soon enough, right? Irina Crush is gonna come join us here, and we'll see if she likes the beard. Okay, so yeah, so it's GG. Good job. So king went here, and of course he just gets pummeled anyway. Queen went here to attack that. Is there not better? Always nice to look if there's not anything better. Okay, queen just went here, pawn here, h3 attacks the queen, and then check. Cool. So GG. Very nice, very nice. Always go for the fanciness. Gunship Conroy. Hi, Gunship Conroy. Thanks for the follow, Gunship. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. The most amazing show. What was that? I can't remember what that's from. Okay, cool. So, do we have new games? Maybe I should just refresh the study to see if there is new games here. No, apparently not. So, who's going to post me a new game? Okay, Gunship. You know what? I like that you say that, Gunship, because I agree with you completely. Okay, I am also a guy, right? But if I think somebody is good looking, I can say it. I'm not scared, right? Brunarola, it could be that it wasn't you. Could have been me for a second there. Okay. So does anybody else want me to add a game? Does anybody else want me to go through a game of yours? If you want me to go through a game of yours, what you can do right now is you can literally just post. Wait, I say that and somebody is adding games. Ooh. White Dancing Star added me a game. Okay, White Dancing Star, you got yourself. Okay, let me just add it real quick. Oh wait, Dr. Hack, are you adding games or not? Gunship, join the Discord channel. Can somebody just post, just type exclamation Discord. There you go, Anasazi said it. So go to the Discord channel, right? And then you will see that there's a sub channel called Viewer Games. Post it in there and we will add it to this study. I don't know what happened to Dr. Hack. I think we lost him. So I have to try and do it myself now. Which is going to lag a little, unfortunately. So give me a second while this lag. Oh, okay. Dr. Hack is here. Yay! Dr. Hack doing it for the kids. Oh, Gunship. That's sad. Okay, Gunship, what you can do is just post it here as well. Just post the link for a game that you have here. Yeah, White Dancing, I see it. White Dancing, I will add your game. Okay, here we go, White Dancing. You're up, my friend. So, White Dancing, I see all of you put your games there that you won. Okay? The objective here for you should be to try and learn from your games. Okay? In other words, from your mistakes. So if you're wanting to learn from your games here, try and give me games that you lost. Don't be shy. Yeah, I saw Sheppy. Yours is next in line. Thank you, Sheppy. Dr. Hack, you can add Sheppy's game so long as well. Cool, thanks. So again, guys, if you really want to learn from your games, then don't give me a game that you won. Give me a game that you lost. Because that means that you did something wrong somewhere, right? So we can try and help you to learn from your mistakes, from your loss. Okay, Just so you guys know. You know, if Magnus Carlsen tells me, okay, guys, I'll analyze your games, I'm going to give him every game I lost, right? Because I want him to show me how I can improve my game. I'm not going to give him the game that I won where some patzer dropped his queen on move 3, right? It's a waste of time. Okay? So, yeah. Ooh, Sheppy. Yeah, Gunship, of course, not a problem at all. Gunship, if you want, you can just post the link to your game right here in the chat on Twitch. You're more than welcome to do that, Gunship. Just post your game here in Twitch, and I will go and post it for you in the Discord channel if I have to. That's how I roll, bro. You called me pretty. So I got you, bro. I got you covered, Gunship. I got you covered, yo. Yeah, more. It all depends on time as well. Okay, White Dancing. I'm sure you can find a game somewhere, especially over the board games are the best to analyze. Okay, so let's have a look at White Dancing. We'll have a look anyway. Okay, so we have an English opening here with a knight f6 reply, and it transposes into a... Oh, sorry. Well, let's wait. Oh, okay, so he plays a3. It's very funny, right? White Dancing, yesterday, or maybe the day before, we played a game where we played a3 for white as well in this very same position. Just because we were trying to be a little bit creative and preventing bishop b4 against knight c3, right? So avoiding the Nimzo Indian, we also tried to play a3. And it's interesting. I will just say that it's interesting. It's not great, it's not terrible, but it's interesting. Okay, so d5 gets played. So now it's just like some Queen's Indian game nonsense here. I have no idea what this is called. So e3 gets played. Bishop there. Knight f3, castles, knight c3, c5. Okay, putting some pressure on the center. Now we have, a little bit of a battle going on. Bishop e2, pawn takes. So now, just out of interest, if knight went here, castled, we would have had ourselves a lovely symmetrical position after a6. Okay, cool, Sheppy. That's fine as well. That's fine. I know that you are strong enough to know that a game is interesting, so it's perfectly fine. Okay. Oh, you don't play the Nimzo Indian? Okay, that's triggered. Yeah, I see that. Thanks, Dr. Hack. Thanks for posting the games, Dr. Hack. That's awesome. Fair enough, Sheppy. Fair enough, buddy. There we go. Everybody's learning. Good job, boys. Okay, so he takes the pawn. And the pawn takes back. Okay. Now knight 6 happens, pawn takes, knight takes, and now we have a isolated pawn. Hello, the IQP. For those of you who don't know what an IQP is, it stands for isolated queen pawn. Okay, so the IQP is a very, very common situation and can arise from multiple different openings. Okay, I think what I will do at some point is I do want to start doing some opening stuff as well, and I will definitely cover the IQP and show you like at least 10 different openings where you can reach the IQP position. Okay, so knight takes here, and now bishop took, and we still have the isolated pawn. It's probably better for white to take with the pawn here. Just so you guys know, because then he at least has the pawns protecting each other. And he gets a nice open b file as well for his rook. So pawn takes is probably the more sensible move here. Let's see how this continues. a6 gets played. Castles finally. And b5. Okay. b4 gets played. This seems like not a great idea either here. Okay. Bishop b7, the bishop needs to go here, or this, and this, to blockade the pawn on d5. Okay, so the pawn on d4 needs to be blockaded with a piece on d4. And then we need to pile up behind it and release the piece and then go take the pawn. That's the goal. That's what we want to do. Okay, so rook e1 gets played. How did white meet bishop f6 instead of knight takes c3? Yeah, exactly. You're right. Exactly. So yeah, so bishop f6, exactly. It becomes quite tricky, right, to defend this pawn. And this is why I say you don't particularly want to take here as black, by the way. It's not something you particularly want to do. We could possibly still defend this pawn. I mean, we could just go back to bishop e3, Sheppy. It's not great, but, you know, again, if you take any one of these, then at least I have a pawn defending this stupid pawn on d4. And it's not isolated anymore. But, again, black now can play b6, bishop b7, knight e7, you know. Just build up around it, right? And then put the rooks on the d file and so on and so forth, yeah. Typical standard idea against a isolated pawn. Okay. And the knight goes to e7 because it can go to f5 and, of course, also attack the bishop if it's on e3. Standard ideas, okay? Standard ideas of attacking the isolated pawn. So, okay, let's just get a little bit forward here and see. Okay, so rook c8, rook c, and the knight goes back here. Interesting. So now at least the bishop will go to d5. Or knight, so he's just repositioning it. Interesting. So we play. Ooh, okay. That looks a little risky. Why are you taking? Why would you give him the file? Him or her? Could be a sure. Why are you giving them the file, White Dancing? There's no need to give them the file. None whatsoever. You could just play knight b6 anyway. And if they take, then you take, and you have the file. Mission accomplished. Yes, Trebek. Mission accomplished. So, you know, there's absolutely no reason for you to give them the file by playing queen takes, unless you're going to retake the file by rook c8. It seems like you ended up being a little lucky in this game, to be honest. So after takes, here, and now you have to take here, of course. Here, and bishop here. He defends the back, but I don't think he should. Ooh. Okay, he still has a back rank problem. Fine. I get it. I understand. Okay, so bishop e2 is okay. Now you play rook here, and I guess it's just equal? I guess the problem becomes now, and this is now a typical endgame, right? Okay, so after takes. So now we stop and we take stock of the endgame here. The tricky part here is that we have two pieces that can attack d4. Okay, you only have one piece that can defend it. So yes, this endgame with all the major pieces off the board, remember rooks and queens are major pieces, with all of them off the board, right? There is definitely an advantage for black, okay? Not only is there two pieces that can attack this piece, so there, but also it's obviously still isolated, okay? Again, I just point out, can somebody just type stats, type exclamation mark stats in the chat for me, please? Type exclamation mark stats in the chat for me. And then let me just mention again, if any of you are not following the channel yet on Twitch, come and follow us on Twitch, of course. It's very good for you, of course, because then you know exactly when we go online or live with streams. And on the Twitch channel, you can also check out the schedule and other things in the Twitch channel as well. So yeah, so please come and follow our channel. We are very much appreciative of people who follow the channel. So yeah, somebody can just type exclamation mark stats in the chat for me, please. Okay, so let's see how you go about this. So now he's thinking maybe king here and king here. Civilton! Civilton, Tim! Thanks, Appledam! Thanks for the follow. There you go, you guys are getting it. Aha! Thank you, Notorious! Just wanted to see where the follower count is right now. Cool. Getting homing in on that 1200 marker there. Got goals, yo. Got goals. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Bomber. Ooh, Bomber, I don't know if you followed yet. If you haven't, please do. Give us some follows, boys. We're trying to build up those numbers. Need to get to 10,000 by the end of the year, at least. Okay, that is our New Year resolution for the channel. Minimum 10,000 followers by the end of the year. Yes, Anasazi, 2 bishops are strong. Okay, but there's a bunch of factors we have to take in consideration here. First things first. First things first. Okay, is that we need to use them. Okay, we can't use them defensively. Okay, so if we go back here, right, I want you guys to think about a more active way that white could play this game. See if you guys can get all funky up in this yo-yo. Find me a way for white to be a bit more active in this position here. yeah. Clown porn, I think you got it right. Let me copy that. Okay, I will paste it for you in here. There you go. I posted it in the channel for you, Gunship. Gunship Conroy. I posted it for you in the channel. Okay. So now it's in there. It's not going anywhere. We'll add it to the list and we will get to it, as time permits, of course. Okay. So I want you guys, what I want from you guys right now is I want you, okay, Anasazi, yeah. But that also is not easy to do, Anasazi. And there is a problem. Now, let's say I go here, right? I could run into this. Let me see this variation. This is a little bit annoying, but it's probably still perfectly okay for white. If you could analyze this blitz game, I was black. Okay, let me just add it for you. I'm going to add it to the list, okay? Saeed, I'm going to add it in Discord for you. And we will add it to the list of games, okay? There, it has been added. Okay, sir. So we will get to it as time goes by. Maybe not today, but of course, eventually. I'm going to start doing this on a more regular basis, by the way. Probably even every evening I will spend a little bit of time analyzing some of your games. Okay. So, White Dancing Rockstar. Okay, here is the problem. White could easily have gone after your pawns as well. Sorry. Here, you take, I take, you go here, let's say, I go here. I guess you're still up a pawn, right? No. So now I go back here, you say, okay, I guess you could just play here, huh? Okay. There is, I guess, still some problems with bishop b7. Okay. So it's a little bit slow, Anasazi, right now to get the bishop to b7. It might be a little bit too slow. Just a little bit. It's a little bit too slow. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't think getting the bishop here works right away. So find me another way to make the same thing work. No problem, Anasazi. And again, this is the type of analysis you can do in your head, right? Here, there. Ooh, bishop's being attacked. Okay, I move bishop. Now, there is another variation, actually, now that I realize it, right? What if we go here? I take, you take, I take. Now, of course, if you go here, I take here first. And now it's okay. Now white's perfectly fine. Easy draw. Easy draw, I say. Easy draw. Go away. Easy draw. So yeah, so this would be an easy draw. Is there any other good moves for black in this current position? No. Because if you go here, I just go back here now, still defending this pawn, and you cannot defend this pawn. Me, Gunship? You know what? I have a little bit of a thing for Chinese girls. I love Ho Yifan, okay? I want her to come onto our stream because I want her to ask me to marry me. No, you know what? White dancing, whatever. You know, it's a random question. We answer the question, right? I like all kinds of women, gun shy. I'm not full of crap, you know. I do have one criteria because I am, of course, not a child anymore, right? I'm 33 years old, okay? And for me, intelligence is a big thing in any woman. So hopefully that answers a little bit of your question. So, okay, so maybe the idea, Anasazi, of going bishop to b7 is actually okay. You might have a little something going on there, sir. But, okay, so black could, of course, also play this. H4, Saeed, are you sure you want to go H4 or do you mean A4? Knight d64 against, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect, yeah, Sheppy. So knight d6 is a bit of a nuisance because, of course, now we can't play here because of knight defense. Exactly. So, anybody consider this idea? What about this? I'm trying to be as active as possible with these bishops. Open it up, right? Who said that? Somebody said, Saeed, yes. It's not H4, of course, it's A4, but I think I understood what your plans was. Correct, you want to create the bishops to be open. Love it, Sonny Jimbo, love it. Okay, so what do? If you take here, then I take, and of course I come back and I attack here, and I'm still defending here. Okay, my friend, okay. So not a great idea by black. Okay, if you don't take, what do you play? Yes, A4 is what you meant, Saeed. I know exactly what you meant. What about knight d6? Because, of course, now the knight can also blockade and do this. But the difference here is if I take, you take, and let's say I play f3 now. If you go here, I take. And I should be perfectly fine here. King goes in here, king. And now black's probably losing. So that's terrible. Okay. And the other big difference, of course, in this position is that this pawn is not here anymore. So even if you could play here, I could just move back and you wouldn't be able to take the pawn because there's no more pawn there. So I think A4 here just completely equalizes the position for white. I don't see any good moves for black here to claim any advantage. So again, it was important for white to make use of his bishops. Open them up because then you cannot lose. Okay, get rid of as many pawns on the queen side as possible because then even if you lose the pawn on d4 by some pure miracle, you are still in perfectly okay shape. Converting the 4 versus 3 majority is not gonna be that easy. Yeah, so let's say what? Let's say knight d6 to defend the pawn. I take, you take, f3, and king comes up, right? King here, king here, king here, king here. I don't even know where we're going. I guess I could have even stopped here, sorry. So here, and now my bishop is free to roam the planet, or not really. I guess there's checks that I have to be careful of. Fine. So I play g4. King comes in here. Maybe your king can get here still, right? Is that the goal still? It's still tricky, isn't it? But again, if I end up losing this pawn, it might still not be the end of the world. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, Sheppy, I agree with you. Black is definitely still better. It's very intense, huh? This game. Very tough, huh? So maybe, maybe that is not the option. Okay. It's a nice little endgame to look at here. Very interesting endgame. Very entertaining. I guess what white could do, though, is white could probably use his bishop on this diagonal instead then. Because again, the knight here doesn't bother me much if I play here or here now. So an example could be maybe I play f4. Yeah, it's not easy to win, but black is definitely still in the driver's seat because of these two crappy pawns. Gunship, it depends on the pawn structure. In these type of endgames, pawn structure is a huge factor to take in consideration in these type of stuff. So what if I tried f4, right? And now I play here. With the idea of maybe even playing something like this. And my king sits here. So there's interesting ideas of me trying to hold on to everything here. Even here, what if I go... Sorry, let me keep the bishop there. King goes here, king goes here, king goes here. Because of course, if you go check here, I just play my king here. Yeah, I also looked at that, but I think it's a bit too slow. Because you have e5 in between, Sheppy. After bishop takes here, you have e5. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think after king e3, let's say you go here now. How do you make progress? Let's say go... Let's say I go g4. If your king goes here, I go check here. Very nice, 500. High five, bro. 1400. Tick. Good job, 500. Is it 100? I hope 500 is the full name there. 500, yes, that's the full name. 500. Give us a follow there on Twitch, man. Come on, you know you want to. So maybe this is the idea, right? We put the pawns on black squares, put the king on the black square as well, and then the bishop does the job of keeping the king out while the pawns do the job of keeping the king out on dark squares. How's that? Again, if your knight ever goes here, my king could have just gone to e4, and you have achieved nothing. Nothing, I say. This seems to be perfectly holdable. And now I don't have to do anything. Oh, I guess there's this, huh? But of course there's a check, right? So now the king has to move first. And now I can move. Now your king can't get in anywhere. And if you play here, boo-hoo. I don't care. My bishop just moves, right? So it doesn't matter. So this seems like the drawing idea for white here. I still think that getting rid of this pawn is good because then we don't have to worry about knight c4 ever being an actual attack on the pawn. This is why I was trying to get rid of the a pawn. So I think this would probably hold things together because you want to bring your king around because you want to get to this square. But as soon as you do, I can check you. Okay. I think that would be a perfectly acceptable way for white to hold the draw. Thank you, 500. The force will be with you, my son. Yes. Let me just kill another stupid Santa Claus. 500. It was check. It was check. Note that my idea ended up in a check. It was a check. It was a check. So first he'd have to deal with the check, move his king, and then of course we can just move our king as well. We can, of course, in this situation, the reason why I don't move my king here yet is because, of course, then my bishop is not attacking your pawn anymore, which means your knight would be able to move. So I wait first. If you go here, I don't have to do anything. I can go here. Because the bishop will still be able to, you know, check you on this diagonal. So if your king goes here, I just go here. Because your king cannot go past. If your king ever goes here, I check. And if your king goes here, I can now still even go here. Because even in this position, well, I can go back as well. Nothing you can do about it. But I might not want to take the knight in this position. So I think I would just play king d3. And like I said, if your knight goes here, I play here. And there's no knight takes a3, which is why I was trying to get rid of the a pawn. Let's see what did happen in the game. After f4, knight d6 happens. Bishop goes to d3, trying to keep out the knight everywhere. The knight goes to c4 and says, look at me go to your ponies. So takes, but isn't this king faster? I'm skeptical. That's a bad move. What's the point of that move? Okay, this white dancing, this would actually lose for you. It's the same colored pieces. Wait. How many moves does it take? It takes 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe you're in time, right? So here. You're just in time. Okay, I'll give it to you. Can't you play like that GM against Carlsen and go counter check? Want to take a look? Yeah, I will, of course. I will add it, Riemann. I will add your game to the list as well. Okay. Never fear, my children. I am here. The force will be with you. Marcius, thanks for the follow, Marcius. Welcome to the show. Okay, let me just get out of Discord here real quick. Okay, cool. Let me continue on with life, right? Okay, so you're just in time. Fair enough. This would be terrible for white. Okay, you're lucky, white dancing. You managed to just sneak in there. So we are back to square one here. How do we hold this together? I don't think we can. I think now black is winning here. So bishop went here, king came in. This is a pawn for white. Yes, exactly. So g4 happened. King went here to be able to move the bishop. Ooh. g5 got played, and bishop went back. Riemann, the list is now fairly long. Wait, is Kistoni still adding games? Yeah, there's quite a few games in the list already. Hello, Marcius. Yeah, Dre, we will add the game as well. I'm sure Dr. Hack is on it. If he's not, I will add it at a little bit of a later stage. But we probably won't get through all of it anyway today. So, you know, I'll probably do one more game. And then, to be honest, I probably will go to bed, boys and girls, because I am tired. It is 6:30 a.m. I am this close. Yeah, baby. Yeah, Tommy, you know it, man. Look at this bad boy, right? And this is all natural, by the way. I literally do not grow any hair on the sides. This is just, you know, not shaving for a month and a half, and bam, perfect goatee. No worries, Anasazi, no worries. So, after bishop here, right? Okay, that doesn't look so great. Why would you play h4? Huh. Triggered. f6, okay. Takes. Ooh, the outside pass pawn sneaked its way in there. Very well done by White Dancing Rockstar. Yeah, maybe I'll leave him here for you guys. Goatee can finish up the job here. Yeah, okay, so now he's in fat poop, right? It's just game over, yeah. No worries, White Dancing. I like what you did in the end here, White Dancing. His bishop is stuck defending the c pawn, okay? Oops, okay. His king and bishop needs to also defend this pawn. And now you go and create a pass pawn on the other side. Very well played, actually. Now, you know, bishop came here. You just now put pressure on this. Bishop comes back to defend, and you're still trying to put him in zugzwang, which is quite sneaky. And now the pawn finally gets going. Takes, takes, takes. Bishop comes back. And, of course, you go in for the pawns. Takes it, takes it. And, of course, now this pawn is an unstoppable force. May the force of unstoppableness be with you. Good job. Nice game, White Dancing. Nice game, sir. Okay. Cerberus, Mr. Anasazi, I think we'll pop in. Are you and Castonia couple? You wish, Gunship. You wish. We have lots of bro love for each other. Don't worry. Lots of bro love going on up in this yo-yo. Okay, I think we have ourselves a tough game. So Anasazi, this is your game, right? You are Cerberus on Lichess, I assume. So awesome. Let's have a look at your game. Okay, this is going to be the last game, guys. Then I'm going to go to bed. I was going to do a little bit of a longer stream, but I must admit my eyes are burning. My brain, I'm really hungry. My brain is saying, feed me, you dumb bastard. So I think I'm going to, call it a night after this game. Okay. And then, of course, tomorrow, by the way, just I will update the schedule. I will be doing viewer games probably every day. So I'll just be continuing going through the list. So just relax. Your games will be done. Just continuously add games and we will get through them. Okay. So let's have a quick look here. We have a transposition. Okay. Some interesting play by Black here. Not going for the conventional strategy of, knight f6, taking on d5, and playing like a weird Benoni structure. Yeah, me too, White Dancing. Thanks for staying and sticking around, White Dancing Rockstar. Have a good sleep, buddy. I'm going to sleep really well soon too. So, okay, so let's see what Black decides to do here. Okay, so the knight on g6 is interesting. Castles. Knight d7, h3. What are the hours? What do you mean? Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre. You know, Dre, you can just join the doctors, right? Because you'll be Dr. Dre. What do you mean? What are the hours, Dr. Dre? The hours that you see in the schedule, that is at my times. Okay, so that is at GMT +2. Or do you just want to know what the time is currently? It is 6:30 a.m. for me. Triggered. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a weird Benoni, right? Okay, so h3 gets played. Knight goes to e5. After takes, you play knight takes. Now, you see, that is risky, my friend. This is probably... You just want me to be dating some awesome guy, don't you, Mr. Ship? Gunship. Yeah, what is the schedule? Yeah, Dre, I will update the schedule later today. You can see, of course, what is happening for the rest of today. I am supposed to finish in the next 30 minutes with the analyzing of games, and then I was going to play another hour just playing some games against viewers as well. But you know, like I say, I'm quite tired because I woke up a lot earlier today than I usually would, so I'll be much better tomorrow. Triggered. But of course, we will be doing commentary on the Rilton Cup later today as well. So you can come and pop in again later when we do that. And then I will update the the schedule for the rest of the week. Okay, I will do that. So just check it out. So Anasazi, I need to tell you that this is not a great idea. Sadly, not a great idea. Because you're giving him the help of the f4 tempo. And if you remember our Benoni game where we looked at the weak squares game, we know that f4 is one of the obvious ideas that white would like to play. Yeah, I don't like sleep that much, but you know. So you don't want to encourage him to play the move f4. Okay, Anasazi. So it's just not a great idea, unfortunately. Okay. It's tough to say how else to continue this, though. I would maybe even try, let's say, takes. Oh, yeah, sorry, Dre. Yeah, the schedule is just underneath the video in Twitch. My bad. We added the new Google Doc today, so we just updated the schedule for today. But yeah, you will see that we will be adding more stuff to it. Okay. So maybe just takes here would be a better plan for you, Anasazi. This would probably just be a better idea. Because now you still have choices, right? Like now if he plays here, you can even play bishop here. And suddenly things are not looking too bad for you. I'm not too unhappy about this. You can get pressure, you know, it's easy for you to get pressure on e4 now. So this actually doesn't look too bad for you. So I get the feeling that he might have to take with this pawn unless he wants to take with a knight, which of course is also definitely possible due to your weaknesses on these squares. But after knight f6, I don't think you're doing that badly again. Here, and this pawn again is under heavy fire. So again, I don't think this is too terrible for you. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this position, to be honest. I think black is perfectly okay here. So this is a lot different from what you would have had. And if he plays, let's say, something here with the legit obvious option of just defending, right? I mean, we could just take, right? Because we can play f5 as well. So, triggered. Could definitely have been okay for you. So, after takes, we still have this idea of bishop f5. F6, I mean. With the knight going to e5 now being a much different strategy here. You could even possibly play stuff like this. Or, of course, you can just continue on with conventional wisdom. So, I think you're doing perfectly fine if you do not, you know, go for something weird here. Okay, so let's quickly go through this further. Now, f4 gets provoked, and obviously it happens. Bishop develops, pawn takes, and pawn takes. And now the big difference, of course, is that there is a lot of pawn pushes in your face. So if you play here, I guess it's still okay. But if you play knight here, then here. So bishop goes here. a5. Nice little outpost on b6, of course. Rook e8. Queen c2. Just defending the e-pawn. You know, you don't need to keep the center closed. If you wanted to keep the center closed, then you could just play this. Boom. Center closed for eternity. And then you can even play f5. You know what I mean? You move your knight, you get it out of the way, you play f5, and you play on the king side. This would be an interesting plan. Not a terrible idea. Even knight f4 is not bad, because if bishop takes, then of course you reintroduce this nice little outpost for your pieces with a bishop here. So, you know, there's better ways of dealing with this, I think. Okay. So let's just see how okay, so after this, you're just very slow here, unfortunately, in this position. So bishop goes here, because the bishop now needs to remove itself so that another one of our pieces could go to that square. Because f6, everything is fighting for f6 now. You might have wanted to even try this, Anasazi. It could have been an interesting way to try and play as well. Could have been a very interesting way to play as well, because even here, I don't dislike your position so much, because look at this knight. It has weird places to have to go to because of this. So he can't play there. You just lose a pawn for nothing. For jack squat. And, you know, if the knight has to go, let's say, here or something, then we get Tempi on this pawn, right? So we're definitely getting a bit of chances of our own now, at least, which is great. Could be a very interesting position in the end, actually. Cool. So that could be an interesting move, which also obviously vacates the f6 square. So now you can continue on with your life, right? So it's not a bad idea to play bishop d4 maybe. Because remember, here now you have to start being dynamic. You have to start creating interesting things here. Because, you know, he's cramping you, right? He's cramping your position. Your pieces are struggling to move. This way, at least you open up your pieces and you're trying to get some activity going. I think bishop d4 could be a very interesting move here. You have to, in these positions, by the way, yeah. Don't be afraid of double pawns. It's logical that you're afraid of double pawns. Don't get me wrong, right? But in a position like this where you're very cramped for space, you need to think about your pieces more than your pawns. Okay. You know, open files, active pieces are going to be worth much more than a double pawn. And this is one of the cool things that you have to remember, okay? You take two players. I see someone there. Nitrous Oxide. Thanks for the follow there, Nitros. Welcome to the show. If you have any questions, please ask. I am here to show you guys the way. So, okay. What you have to remember, Anasazi. Yes! Show Iza. Thank you for the compliment, buddy. This is the whole point, Show Iza. Okay? The whole point, wait, what's the whole name here? Show is Saking. What is the Show Lisa? Oh, Show Lisa King. Is that the proper name there? Yeah, Show Lisa King. This is the whole point of our channel, right? We want to be the educational channel. We want to teach you guys how to play the damn game. Instead of just sitting here listening to doof, doof, doof music and playing bullet chess and laughing and drinking, okay? We want to teach you how to play chess, okay? So yeah, Anasazi, double pawns give you something in return. It gives you open files, gives you more squares, and it gives you open diagonals, okay? So by playing something like bishop d4 and after takes, now you have the open file, you have an interesting outpost for a knight, and your pieces can finally try and untangle from the problem that you have. Okay, this is what you get for your double pawn. Okay, and he has weaknesses too. Ah, okay, Show is a king. Okay, Show 1 is a king. You know, the 1 could have been an L, so it could have been Show Lisa King. Okay, Show. Yeah, exactly. You got the bad bishop, so you need to deal with that problem as promptly as possible. Okay, so something like, let's say knight here, we go here, bishop goes here to defend the pawn, and bishop goes here. Now, of course, if you try this, I could just take, with some cheeky traps. Okay. So this is the kind of things that you need to do, right? You don't care about the pawn. The pawn is not important to you. It's more important to you get your pieces active here. Okay? Ooh, there it is. There it is. Another one. Thank you, Show. Thank you, Show, for the follow there. Thank you so much. If there's any more of you guys in the chat who are not following the Twitch channel yet, please do follow us on Twitch. Then you will be able to also check the schedule to see what and when we are doing things. Thanks for all the support, guys. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that you want to try and achieve, Anasazi. If you're super cramped and pretty much looks like you're losing already, then, you know, a double pawn is the least of your problems, okay? Especially if the double pawn is going to free your pieces. Then you still have a chance to fight back and make the game dynamic. Okay, that's the word here, dynamic. So you have a static weakness in a double pawn, but you get dynamic advantages in the way of open files, open diagonals, activity for your pieces. Okay, that's what you get. So after bishop here, the bishop doesn't do anything on this diagonal, which not so great. Bishop goes to defend the pawn, and f5. Interesting. Not a terrible idea. He defends his pawn. Knight f6. e5. Okay, so here they come, right? So the pawns start pushing up the board here. After takes, pawn takes, and rook takes, he has bishop takes c5. So now what did white do? He gave up his pawn center, but in return he has a strong pass pawn. And of course, look at these bishops. They are absolutely gorgeous in this position here. Okay, cutting through everything. His rooks are now going to join the center, and these two are still struggling massively to get into the game. Okay, and that was, you know, it's a critical situation where you need to make something happen so that your pieces can get active into the game. Okay. f4 gets played, bishop drops back, attacks, queen drops back, and rook e7 defends the pawn. Now the bishop just goes to b6, nice little outpost. Queen goes to d6, queen c4 with some cheapos, rook to c8, and the queen goes to d4. So centralizing the queen, even though he gave you a couple of tempi, right? Which is kind of weird, to be honest. I wouldn't have done that. Maybe now you could even try this and try and trade off some pieces, by the way. Not the worst idea you could have ever had. So bishop g3, knight goes to e2, knight goes to e4. Okay, you know what? In all honesty, white has given you some chances here to at least, you know, get some activity in this position. So you're not actually doing that badly here. Really, you're not. But after takes, the problem now is, of course, that your pawn on f4 looks a little vulnerable, huh? Okay, but he abandons it straight away. You go here, he takes, you take. And white is pretty much gambling everything on this pawn of his. It's not a terrible gamble because he has the bishop pair to boot with it. And somehow his king position actually looks pretty solid. I don't think you're looking that terrible, but okay. I mean, oh, okay, there's a tactic, right? Oh, okay. I see. So you just missed the tactic, huh? Yeah, and the tactic was always up in the air, right? The bishop c5 tactic was always up in the air. And of course, if you play queen takes, then d6 starts looking really, really mean as well. Yeah, this looks bad. Now you play here, he goes check. And he just wins the pawn on b7, and again, you're trailing behind here. Word to the wise, by the way, guys, queens do not make very good blockaders. Possibly a move like queen d7 here is better, with the idea of blockading with the knight. And that is still not that bad, actually, in all honesty. I think you might be okay. That's why I say, in this actual final position here where, you know, the dust is settled and he's traded his queen, you know, he's center for that pass pawn, This is not that terrible. What you should be thinking is, how do you blockade this point? Okay, I guess there's a problem, right? Okay, so there is a threat right now that you have to deal with. Okay, I get it. So queen d6, queen c4, here, and you went bishop here. No, he had a defense. Hi, Braden Lau. Okay, so here, let me just get back to the original position. So if takes here, well, it's unnecessary maybe to do all of this, because now I can just sack it back. You play d7, I sack back. And now it's actually equal. Braden Lauchlin. So the problem is that I can sacrifice back. If you're going to lose a piece for a pawn, then why can't I lose a piece for your strong pawn back as well? And now it's, funny enough, equal. I still think white's winning because of this pawn dying. Maybe not. Maybe I play here and I hold on to that pawn for a little while. Be like, no, thou shalt not pass. Halt. So yeah, so no. So you would just play the check and then take the pawn. Okay? No need to lose your pawn on d6. Yes, you have to solidify your position here. Yeah, exactly. So you need to just solid up and blockade this damn pawn. So like here, I think in this position is the kind of position that you want to look at. So what about something like this? You mean knight e2, but yeah. Yeah, you're right, Braden. That's also true. Exactly. Very well spotted, Braden. My Irish friend, Braden Lauchlin. I love that name. Wait, Braden, how is your name? How is that spelled? Can someone spell this in the chat real quick for me? Can someone just spell the following? Okay, it's spelled STANLAUGHN. Somebody type that for me in the chat. The whole word. It's a name. STANLAUGHN. Sorry. What am I doing? STANLIEGHN. My bad. That is my second name, Braden. Lauchlin. It's Stan Lee. Rip. Yeah, but knight here, right? Because now what? You want to play b4? I go queen here. And now if you go here, I play knight here. So maybe I can try and blockade this. Lachlan, really. Now, I want to say Lauchlin. It sounds awesomer if I say Lauchlin, okay? Screw you. You're Lauchlin now, okay? It just sounds cooler. Lachlan just doesn't sound good enough. We need to have that sound, okay? Lauchlin. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, but as soon as you lose control of this pawn, then you're busted. So I understand that you kind of just got into trouble there. It's okay. You know, you have to blockade pass pawns, but I think earlier in this position here, instead of playing knight e5, I think that you would be perfectly interesting here after pawn takes. Because it's very, very weird for him to have to decide what to take with. This doesn't look great, this doesn't look great, and neither does this. So if pawn takes, I still play here, you know, and I still get this move here, my rook gets here, my bishop gets out, and this looks good. Okay. If this one takes, the same things happen. I play here, and of course after rook e8, I have pressure on e4. Okay, and if the knight takes, then I play knight here, just attacking your pawn. Nice and simple, right? And if you take, I take with a bishop, and again, I still get pressure. Now you have much more natural places for your pieces to go to, and I think your opening is perfectly fine here. I can't see that you have any real issues to deal with here. You can even now play b6 and bishop b7, get more pressure on e4. So I think, had you not played e5, you get to counterattack the center here much quicker than where you allowed him to play f4 when he always has these e5 ideas as well in your face. Where here it would take him a lot longer to get anything like that going. Okay, so that is what I would say, is something that I would have changed for you out of the opening already. If you've done that, then I think black could definitely be perfectly equalized in this position. If not, even slightly better. I like that I can see easy ideas for black to play with here. Because usually this pawn would be bad because of this bishop here. But look at that knight on g6 now, right? He's like, nyeh, 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 nyeh. So, feels bad, man. Feels bad. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to call it a night. Sheppy, your game is technically next. But of course, again, as I pointed out to everybody, I will only do your game if you are actually in the chat. Because I want you to obviously get the benefit of asking me questions and or, watching the analysis as it happens. Okay. I need to make myself some good breakfast now and then go to bed. How funny is that, right? I make breakfast and then go to sleep. I'm a freaking vampire, guys. The sun is coming up, okay? The sun is up. I'm gonna burn right now. I'm gonna turn into ash. I don't want to die. No worries, Anasazi. No worries. Thank you for adding the game. It was an interesting game. It was definitely an interesting game. Okay? And good job for posting a game that you lost. At least you have some balls, man. You got some balls. Okay, boys and girls. I say thank you all. Thanks for all the follows. It was quite a decent night with follows. Dre, once again, thanks for the donations. You are, you're single-handedly carrying my life here. You're paying my salary, buddy. Thank you. I'm just glad if you guys learn. It's all we want here is for you guys to learn. Good night, Clown Porn. Good night, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys in like 9 hours. I'll be back streaming again in about 9 hours. Screw my life, right? So I literally get to sleep 8 hours now. Then I have to, get up, well, a little bit earlier, right? And then make breakfast. Again, I get to have a second breakfast. And then, yeah. So I'll be back in about 9 hours time to stream the round 7 commentary of the Rilton Cup.